Okay, deceptive resolution. All right, so just like sometimes the 5 doesn't go to 1, the 5 of someone doesn't have to go to that someone. It could go to the 6th of that someone. So here's an example. We're in F major. I have the 5 of 6. In F major, 6 is D minor. And the 5 of D minor would be A. So here's an A7. And instead of going to D minor, here will be D minor in second inversion. D, D, F, A. Is going to the 6th of D minor, B flat. Okay? So you could do that, and you can find that in the repertoire, and you can see that right here. You have, this is all in the, we're in F major, but all these chords, 1, 2, 3 chords here are written with as if being in D minor. His tonicized in D minor is 3 chords here. But instead of having the 5 of D minor going to D minor, so this would be 1 of 6, it's actually going to the 6th of 6. So is a deceptive resolution here of the secondary chord. And there's another, well, let's listen to that first before I go to the next point.
Example 17:11.
Right there. Very nice. Now, so this is the deceptive resolution here of this secondary dominant chord. Instead of going to D minor, the 6, it goes to the 6th of 6, B flat major. Now, this guy here, take a look at this. This is the 7th of 1. So we're in F major here. So this is an E diminished chord, no 7th. E, G in the bass, and B flat. But notice, it does not follow convention. It does not go to F. It goes to another diminished chord. Now this time fully diminished chord, and it's a secondary leading tone chord of the 5 of D minor. Now, how does this work? Well, notice everything is moving stepwise motion either chromatically or diatonically. The E is supposed to go to F. It doesn't. It goes down to D. The soprano does catch the F over here, and this G really is just doubling the bass. So he goes down over here with the 3rd and kind of resolves this leading tone for the E here, for the alto. And then this goes down, stepwise motion. This guy goes, so these two go down, and this is just octave doubled, so this is the bass and the tenor. And the bass and tenor both go up chromatically. You see that G to G sharp, B to B flat to B natural. So it's almost like if the effect you have this 7th chord and then gets compressed even more into another 7th chord. And since the voice leading is so smooth, the ear actually is able to accept that. Right? So you have the top 2 voices, and the voices are moving in contrary motion. The top 2 voices are moving down by step diatonically, while the bottom voice are moving up by step chromatically. Let's just listen to that little bit.
Example 17:11.
Right there. na 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 na. Okay, so voice leading plays a big role because this is a deceptive resolution of the 7th scale degree here, of the 7th chord. Instead of going to 1, goes to another a 7th chord, and that's only possible because of the very clean and smooth voice leading. There's no jumps. Everybody's getting there the closest way possible. And since he has this in first inversion, he has the bottom 2 voice, the tenor and the bass. Remember, the bass is just doubled octave lower. He has the soprano and the alto going down, and the tenor and the bass going up. So his voicing, the way that he also built the chord, is also helping for this like squeezing momentum there. And in fact, that is the same reason why the example of Beethoven symphony works. Example 17.6, which was a 5 of 5 going to a 5 of 4. One of the reasons this progression works is because it features smooth voice leading. Right? If you don't remember, is this one over here, right here. This 5 of 5 is an E 7th going to a D7. And they have over here reduction, and so it is. You see here the leading tone, the common tone stays the same, and everybody else moves by stepwise motion. Actually, in fact, everybody moves chromatically. G sharp goes up to a half step, B goes to C natural, half step, and E is the only one that goes to F sharp. Very interesting. Another connection that you can do, there is a deceptive resolution. So remember, deceptive is anything that does not resolve the way it's supposed to, right? This guy is supposed to go to F. It didn't. Deceptive doesn't mean that it goes to a 6. Deceptive means that it's going anywhere else besides that chord that's supposed to go to 1, or if you got 5 or 5, it doesn't go to 5. It goes to something else. It doesn't have to be 6 or 5. As long as that resolution is frustrated as deceptive. So over here, another connection that you can have, another way of making deceptive resolution of anything is whenever you have a dominant chord, which is a major chord with a minor 7th, and between them is a mediant relationship, so a relationship of a third. So for example, here we have either a third above or a third below it. It can be a major or minor third. So for example, here, E, the chord of E7. Okay, let's suppose that this is, we're in D here. So this is 5 of 5. And instead of going to a 5, he's going to C sharp 7. And these will actually work very smoothly. Because look, there are 2 voices, they're the same, they just stay connected, and then these 2 just move chromatically. Okay, and it says here, even smoother is a connection between any major minor 7th chord a minor third apart. Yeah, I said major minor third, but especially minor third apart. Or, surprisingly, a tritone apart. Because all such pairs of major minor 7 chords share 2 pitch classes. Yeah, if you go into a major third apart, then there will be only 1 pitch the same. So that's a minor third below, or a minor third above. Look at this. G sharp, B, D, E. So D and B are the same, and the other 2 voices move just chromatically, a half step below and a half step above. And then E to B flat. And again, we have D is the same note. G sharp goes to A flat, which really is the same note. And then E goes chromatically to F, and B goes chromatically to B flat. And that's what Beethoven, that's what a lot of composers do. And that's what we're going to see in the next example. Deceptive resolution, not because they're related to each other, just because the voice leading is very smooth. And I wrote these chords over here so we can listen to them. Anyway, so they all sound, it's not like some strange chords put together. They actually, you can get away with them, right? And you can see that in the repertoire. Now, Felix Mendelssohn's sister, Fanny Mendelssohn, she did just that over here. She went to, so we're in F major, and she went from a 5 of 4, which is a F7, to a 5 of 2. Now, 2 in F is G minor, and as 5 of G minor is D. So it's a minor third apart. So F7 to D7. So let's see how this sounds in a musical context. That's the other example.
Example 1713.
Okay, now let's take a look at this. Now notice, what are the common tones between those two? So we have F, so F, A, C, E flat, and D, F, A, and C natural. So A and C are the common tones. So we have a C and A, and C and A. Those two say the same. Look, C and A here, C and A here. C and A, C and A. And then we have E flat and F. E flat becomes D, and F sharp, F natural becomes F sharp. Okay? So, very interesting way of working that on over there. Now on to other chords that are secondary chords as well, that you may find them in the repertoire. Okay, so the main chords that we talked about so far, the secondary chords, are the 5 or the 5/7 of someone, either 2 or 5 of 3, 5 of 4, 5 of 5, oops, 5 of 6, and there's no 5 of 7. And in the minor, you can also go back and check it out. Then we talked about the diminished seventh. You can just this diminished seventh without a seventh, the half diminished seventh, which I'm not going to put the thing, or the full diminished seventh of someone as well. And then we talked about the deceptive resolution, which is minor 6 of someone, or in frame minor, major 6 of someone. However, sometimes if you have long progressions in a different key that does not modulate, you may have other chords that draw attention to a center that is not a tonic. So for example here, we are in G, but this whole little section here, this whole measure plus the first beat of this measure here, measure 69 and 70, it's all pertaining to the fourth chord of G, really C major, right? So you have a cadence in C, 5 of C going to C, and then before that you have 4 of C, some thunder, which is F. Now again, you don't have an F chord in G major, but that chord is found in C. So then you will analyze this as just pertaining to this progression in C major that lasts just 3 beats. Okay, so that's really what you're gonna find. Other secondary dominants besides the 5, the 7, and the 6 are just chords that are part of a progression leading, excuse me, to a quick tonal center that's not in the key of the piece. The final example, we can see this very clearly. Well, there's this Mozart example here, which we'll listen to it, but let's first talk about the last example. The basic outline of the next example is 1, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. However, instead of simply doing this, he's going to make a little progression in 3 and a little progression in the 2. So the 3 is going to become a little tonal center with a 2, 5, 1 in 3. And the 2 is also going to become a little mini tonal center with a 2, 5, 1 in 2. Right? So we aim, we'll take a look at this here. So you can see we're in D major. So right here, we're in D. 1, 5, 1. D, A, D. And then over here, this measure plus the first half of this measure, it's all chords that pertain to the third chord of D, which is F sharp minor. So you have the 2 of F sharp minor, which is G sharp diminished 7, half diminished. And then C sharp, which is 5 of F sharp minor. And then finally F sharp minor. And then these next 3 chords pertain is a little progression in 2. So it's 2 of 2, 5 of 2, and 1 of 2. And then again 5, 1 in D. So sometimes you may find other chords they are not either a 5 or a 7 or a 6, not in the key, but usually they are forming little progressions, little cadences, as you can see here. And here's a textural reduction of the above excerpt, which is Chike 5. Okay, now we're going to listen to this. The horn, this is concert pitch, as we call it, because the horns are transposing instruments. But concert pitch means that this is the pitch that as he plays his part, this is what's going to come out. Okay, let's listen to both examples.
Example 17:14.
Good. So we heard this, right? So this F kind of comes out of the blue, this F natural, this F major chord in G, and here's a G chord. But then once the context comes in, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just the 4 of this guy. And it is a slow movement. So a slow movement, you're able to change the harmony very quickly. If it's a fast movement and you change the harmony every beat like this, you're gonna tire the listener because there's a lot of stuff going on, rhythmically, harmonically, thematic. So he's able to get away with this progression in just 3 chords, well, in 4 beats. He does a cadence in the 4, and it sounds just fine. Now, here's Tchaikovsky. Let's listen to this one.
Example 17:15.
Here comes 2 of 3, 5, 3. Now 2 of 2, 5 of 2, 2, 5, 1. Let's listen to that again. I'll look at the textual reduction.
Example
Down here.
17:15.
13. So that concludes chapter 17.
Self-test 17:2.
It was a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thank you.